EG versus Mouz here. This is the third game we've casted today of the defense. My name is Purge, and I am here with GoDz.
And yeah, this is the last game for tonight, but this is probably the game I know I've most been looking forward to. This is EG, the American-European combo, and they've got some unusual subs playing in for them, and up against Mouz, who are sort of the kings of Hon, now playing Dota 2, and they are going to be trying to see if they can cause a bit of an upset here and take out EG, who just had a very, very convincing game against SGC.
Yeah, I have seen Mouz play once or twice before, but not a whole amount, and obviously this is that was the first Dota 2 game that I've seen EG play as a team. Obviously they do have stand-ins. The white stuff is fabled to be Melk and Pusher Street, of course, ex-MYM. So more than anything, this is an ex-MYM with fierce stand-in game.
Yeah, that's so true. This is, ex-MYM. They've got Malk, Pusher, Demon, Fear, and Playmate. So this is really, all these. I believe Fear. Did Fear actually play with MYM at some point?
There was the
School MYM, I think.
Yeah, the American. Well, I guess that wasn't the same. Fear played with Demon and a couple other American players. So I know they've played together before, and I'm sure they're friends because obviously, with the North American scene definitely dropped off a lot. So I'm sure they have absolutely communicated a little bit.
And we do see Mouz with the first pick. They ban the Brood and Anti-Mage. Ancient Apparition as well as Nightstalk being banned by EG, and that leaves the Prophet. We're going to see Mouz first pick that. And we saw EG go up against the Prophet last game. They didn't care. They were quite happy to verse it, and they used some aggressive push strat. They had a Chen last game, and once again going to go with the Chen. Are they going to go with that Shadow Shaman again? Maybe the Bat Rider, but they're actually going to go with the CM. We're going to see Pusher Street once again playing that Crystal Maiden, I imagine. And the Chen probably going to be once again in Malk's hands. So this EG team on a lot of their signature heroes. All you need is like a Demon on Beastmaster, Playmate on, I don't know, what's a Playmate signature hero? Maybe sort of something like a Priestess of the Moon.
Or a Windrunner or something. I don't know.
Yeah, some sort of side lane solo hero. And you've got a very sort of trademark lineup for them. Mouz on the other side, they're going to go with their Leech, so they're looking at some strong laning phase heroes, and they do pick up Shadow Shaman, Sing Sing's trademark hero, but is Sing Sing even playing this game? They've got King Z, who I'm not actually sure who that is, but as far as I can see, Sing Sing is not in this lineup. Good. I think it was definitely smart to pick up that Shadow Shaman here because EG picking it up last game basically picking it denies EG of picking it, and it means that they can't go for some sort of aggressive push of their own with the Prophet and Shadow Shaman on their side.
Yeah, it's always a really good way to start off your strategy. You don't necessarily have to be extremely push heavy, but just having the ability to do it is really awesome. And a Pugna is going to get picked up by EG in the first round. Pugna is a hero that doesn't get played very much in Dota 2, and we talked about it in the last game when he got banned, was that he's best against heroes who have really expensive spells, and Shadow Shaman is definitely one of them. Dropping wards is like 300 mana, shackles, depending on the level, can be at least 100, and even spamming your Ether Shock is going to do a lot of nuke damage to the Shadow Shaman until he gets that Black King bar. So we may see him get a really fast Black King bar so he can actually have decent team fights and not just get destroyed by that Nether Ward.
Yeah, Pugna's a great counter to that Shadow Shaman, and maybe Mouz going to have to rethink where they want to lane that Shadow Shaman, because if solo mid against Pugna, he won't do too well. He'll do okay in the actual laning phase, but come mid-game he will get shut down by that ward. Now, looking at these bans, we see ES being banned by Fear. The Bat Rider, which was used so well last game by Demon, is going to get banned out. I think we're going to be seeing Playmate, aka Yellowbird, on that Pugna solo. And maybe see even a DK respect ban here, as Fear last game with DK was just very, very scary. And definitely I think DK could be a pickup here for EG once again. It's a tanky, hard to kill semi-carry hero who can, those Serpent Wards don't do much damage to a DK with all that armor, and DK can push down towers of his own with the Pugna, so could be what EG go for once again.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see two pushing lineups go against each other. And like you said, with that high armor, he's not taking a ton of damage from the Serpent Wards. Nature's Prophet is obviously pretty much all physical, and if he picks up something like a Hood or a Pipe, he did that very late last game, but if he did like a faster Pipe or Hood this game, he's going to be really, really hard to kill by that dire lineup. And they're going to also ban a Enigma, so worried about the pushing coming out of Enigma, not to mention the team fight. Dropping something like a Malefice down on any out of position hero can just really change the battle. And there's still one more ban to go from the Radiant team. They're probably going to ban a support, maybe. It's kind of hard to say because Lich obviously can solo or duel, and I expect he's probably going to be played as a support though.
Yeah, and what's interesting to see here is, like last game, no team's really going for any form of hard carry heroes. You're not really seeing the voids, anti-mage obviously being banned because of how powerful a hard carry is, but you're not seeing the voids, the snipers, the morphlings, any of those sort of traditional hard carries like Drow Ranger as well. Which, I mean, teams. I mean, if they go for a safer lineup, they like to pick up those heroes. But these teams playing very aggressive push style lineups, very team oriented, where hard carries just can't get the items up fast enough to be involved with the team. So, really, an exciting style of Dota, and EG have come back from China with this new sort of standard of play, which is looking to be very, very scary.
Yeah, high aggression plays are really fun for sure. And their last ban was an Omni Knight. Mouz immediately picks up a Tidehunter, going for a Tidehunter just like the last game, but hopefully they can get their Tide to level 6. It's kind of a pretty much useless hero at level 4. It's so much more useless than another hero, like an Earthshaker or something. So if he can get to that level 6, it doesn't matter how much farm he has, he can still contribute to the team fight. So that's one good thing about Tidehunter, if you can get him there. And now EG going to take their time picking their hero. They still have a lot of time left, a minute and 16 on the clock.
Yeah, I think that's why EG were happy to give them Tidehunter, but wanted to make sure they ban that ES, because ES is a lot more useful in that sort of early to mid-game scenario when you're not going to have a Tide level 6, and even Tide level 6, obviously Ravage, 140, 150 second cooldown, Fissure, just a 15, 20 second cooldown. So, obviously ES a much more sort of versatile hero than the Tidehunter, who is pretty much that one-stop ultimate. Not to mention the fact that Tide and Lich on the same team, it's a very passive kind of two heroes. I mean, sure, they've got the Shadow Shaman and Prophet, but Tide and Lich aren't very mobile. They can't really dive in or go into fights. They can only walk in slowly. So, I mean, despite having a great push coming out from both Shadow Shaman and Prophet, I don't think the Tide and Lich fit into this overall strategy of Mouz, and EG picking up a Venomancer is looking to be a very strong pushing strat. And I'm expecting maybe another DK coming out from EG as their last pick.
Yeah, I think that could definitely work out. I think this is why they picked up the Crystal Maiden so early, because they were just planning on... I mean, maybe this is just one of their picking builds that they had prepared. I think all of their bans and picks so far have been very straightforward, and there's just a lot of different variability to where they could go with all of these heroes. So going for the Pugna plus the Venomancer plus the Chen, that just screams push, especially with the Crystal Maiden Aura, man. Crystal Maiden Aura is by far one of the best support heroes to have in a pushing lineup. Witch Doctor probably the other honorable mention because of his heal, but just having the mana to be able to continue to spam your spells, drop down the Nether Blasts on the towers continuously just to try to win the game. And it looks like Mouz is going to pick up a semi-carry for their game, and they're going to be playing a Priest of the Moon.
Yep, and there we have it. EG Fear once again going with that DK. It worked wonders last game, and I really think it works just as well in this lineup as it does with the last. Mouz haven't got anything that can really do a whole lot of damage to a DK, so Fear sticking with what works, and he's going to pick up that DK. So this is EG versus Mouz on the Radiant team. That's EG. We've got Fear playing the DK, Demon playing the Venomancer, we've got Pusher Street on the CM, Yellowbird aka Playmate playing that Pugna, and finally, Daedalicious, which we believe is MYM, or former MYM's Malk, playing that Chen.
Alright, for the Scourge team, or the Dire team, sorry, Mouz, Dement is going to be playing the Lich, he's going to be slowing the bot lane. Somebody passed them some words. It's got Boots, and mid lane is Duke is playing the Shadow Shaman, going for actually really, really high mana, not going for the fast bottle here. And then we also have Xmas Trixie, I assume her regular name is Trixie, playing the Priest of the Moon or the Marana, and King Z is on the Tidehunter. Only person I missed is Rexy playing the Nature's Prophet. He looks like he's going to go jungling with the fast Ring of Bacillus and a couple Clarity Potions.
Yep, and apparently King Z is in fact Twister, so he's a regular player for this Mouz team. And right now EG haven't really revealed their lanes. They're going to have that Pugna soloing mid against the Shadow... Well, actually, is it against the Shadow Shaman? It'll be against the Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman going for those two Mantles of Intelligence, going to give him a bit more extra mana and damage. Definitely a good build to do up against a tough opponent like a Pugna, because that's going to allow him to last hit better, use a few more spells, because that Pugna ward is not going to come into play until around level 8, level 9, as Pugna will be maxing Blast out first. And we do see Shadow Shaman scouting out that bottom rune. Not actually there, and the regen at top, it will get picked up by the Marana, who will then just back off immediately.
Yeah, it looks like Demon.
So,
I'm sorry, Demon actually playing the Venomancer is a little surprising. He is gonna probably be soloing, but kind of curious. It's not really like the typical hero that he ends up playing. But you know, when you have that many good players on the same team, this stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah, and maybe even just going for some dual lanes here, as well, depending on where the CM wants to dual lane. Right now, CM is hanging around mid. Maybe going to just pressure this Shadow Shaman at level 1 before heading off bottom, depending on which lane needs help. So CM obviously going to try have some room control and just help out where she's needed.
Yeah, I like the pressure that Pusher Street's been doing so far, just preventing the Shadow Shaman from even attempting last hits, which is going to give him an even more delayed bottle, especially because he went for the double mantle. And once again, gets another hit off on the Shadow Shaman. He has very low armor at level 1, so every hit makes a really big difference.
Yep, and even if Shadow Shaman has vision of that CM coming in, Shadow Shaman obviously needs to be in XP range, else you just fall so far behind. And top lane, EG's Demons, Venomancer using those Plague Wards just to scout out. He knows that Tidehunter is somewhere nearby. Tide Priestess can't really kill Demon though. A Gush Arrow, and they can do a fair bit of damage, force him maybe to use a couple Tangos, but at level 1 they can't kill him. And Tidehunter just going to do a double stack and pull this creep wave here at top, just to deny Demon of some farm.
Yeah, not to mention giving Tidehunter a lot of EXP. It'll probably take at least 2 creep waves. We're going to see the first creep get denied immediately, and indeed he will. But, you know, this is generally why you put a hero up there anyways. You don't necessarily worry too much about them getting EXP, especially on a hero like Venomancer. You just want him to, you know, have the option of getting there. As long as he's safe doing it, it's a good trade.
Yep, and the CM Chen have actually smoked. They've come through bottom jungle. They're going to walk all the way around and gank this Shadow Shaman, I believe. They're not going to go through the lane because they'll get spotted because it is daylight and the gank may fail. But if they go from behind, they're actually going to find a DD rune as well. I don't think they want to pick it up in case they reveal themselves. But this should be a very straightforward kill.
Yeah, there's the D-Crep, there's the Ice Blast. We're going to see the clap as well from Nursa. And that is plenty of slow. Very nicely done there. Great micro from all those players, especially Malk once again. And he draws first blood, gets a lot of gold. Did you see the Flying Courier at the start of the game? I mean, it looked like they were trying to scout out lanes with it or something. It was kind of an interesting playstyle. I'm curious why they went for that.
I'm not actually sure, but I know it's something that was done quite a bit in Dota 1, especially by MYM. I think it was MYM who sort of did it more than anyone. When they picked up Chen, they would get Flying Courier at level 1 and use it to scout lanes and just to scout sort of 5-man level 1 ganks. And I think the most important aspect of it was to scout where your opponent's planted wards. If you know where your opponent has wards, it's a lot easier to play a Chen. You know where to gank, when you have to use smoke, and we are going to see a gank at bottom as Lich gets caught out from behind by tower. CM and Chen are on him, but Chen taking a bit of damage from tower. CM as well. Prophet thinks about TPing in, decides to cancel it, and CM going to maybe get sent back to Fountain? No, CM completely out of mana, but Chen also wants to save that mana to pick up another creep, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely true. And Crystal Maiden actually still no ore levels. She's actually, despite ganking really effectively so far, just level 2. Not very much gold on her, just 336. That double damage on the top was finally picked up by the Shadow Shaman. He is 60 gold away from his bottle, but Pugna definitely in a huge advantage. I'm expecting bottle, and wow, there's so many items on this Flying Courier. Ring of Basilius, Magic Wand. We will see what he makes here. Yeah, he's going to get boots and a Magic Wand. No bottle on him, surprisingly, but he's definitely winning this lane. You know, he had a lot more time to last hit than the Shadow Shaman has.
Yep, doing really well bottom lane. Prophet still has not left that jungle. Rexy is just farming away in those neutrals. And we do see Tide as well, getting some decent levels because of all that creep pulling. And I imagine denying... Demon only level 2. Because of all this creep pulling coming out from Tide, basically it just denies creep after creep. Because this stacked pull is just going to deny pretty much an entire creep wave. And also pull the way back, keep Demon at his tower. And that's... a well-played top lane by Mouz, and they've also got that Prophet farming and jungling, so they are still looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Demon's going to eat a Gale. Are we going to see an arrow coming from the Priest of the Moon? It would be tough to land. Those creeps are coming by. I think that is pretty sweet. I really like the fact that they soloed a DK against a Lich, one of the few heroes who has a ton of lane staying possibility. He even picked up 2 levels of Dragon Blood early, not opting for the max Fire Breath, like is better in a tri lane or an offensive situation. So gives him that lane staying power against Lich, who generally has so much magic nukes. Demon in some trouble. He's going to Gale on the Mariana. Are we going to see the arrow? The arrow comes through. It does land, and we're going to see the Starfall, and that's a good pickup on Demon. It's always so frustrating playing those lanes. Like, they're really tough to play lanes, and then eventually, if you get a little bit too aggressive or a little too greedy about wanting EXP or farm, you do end up getting picked off like that.
Yeah, you can play it so well for 5 minutes and then 2 seconds of sort of miscalculation or just a bit of a loss in concentration, and then suddenly you're dead and all your hard work being positioned perfectly is somewhat lost. And we are going to see Priest of the Moon pick up those treads. Both DK and Potom with treads, so they are sort of on par. But top jungle, Chen and CM have found this Prophet, but Prophet going to stay alive, actually going for a medallion. I saw Prophet with 1k gold, was thinking Prophet maybe saving for a Midas, which would be okay against the Chen, but really happy to see that more aggressive build, which is that medallion. And he uses that to actually take out that Centaur. And without that Centaur, I mean, CM and Chen can't really do a whole lot of ganking, although immediately Chen finds another Centaur.
Yeah, eating your words as fast as possible. Alright, laning is
Centaurs
continuing
galore.
now. Yeah, they're everywhere, man. Venomancer on the top lane, just hitting level 4 finally. Priest of the Moon has been farming pretty well. Wow, treads into Basilius. She's actually sitting at 34 CS, highest in the game. Beating Fear playing that Dragon out just by 1. Fear's at 33, Pugna 26. Pugna with 15 denies though. Wow, really doing a great job shutting down the Rost, who's sitting at only 20 CS here.
Yep, and we are going to see, I mean, 3 EG heroes are near mid. They could go for another kill, maybe look to take down some towers, but so far, I mean, Chen's got a couple nice ganks off, but EG have yet to pressure any towers. Last game you saw them pressuring tower after tower, using the DK and Chen, using those Shadow Shaman was, but I mean, they've got a Pugna instead of Shadow Shaman here, but I feel like they could be putting a bit more pressure on towers. Maybe we're going to see that happening bottom, because the solo Lich is definitely the weak link in this Mouz lineup, although Lich with that level 6 ultimate can do a huge amount of damage if a gank does come in, and there's the smoke. CM and Chen want Lich.
And they will be setting out the Centaur first to tank tower and get the stun off. Lich does have boots though, and he has a Chain Frost. Since there's only 1 creep, that's a high probability of just wrecking those weak support heroes. And Lich is going to back up once again. Doesn't want to go down to the lane, understandably. Fear's actually going to push a little bit using his level 2 Fire Breath, which is going to hurt his mana just a little bit. Actually, the Nature's Prophet ulti going to stop a lot of the pushing power of Team EG here, so it might be a really, really scary dive coming from them.
And Demon at top lane gets gushed, arrowed. Prophet with a medallion comes in, takes him out, and meanwhile bottom lane they go on Lich. Lich needs to get that ultimate off. He's going to get stunned. If he can get, yep, he gets perma stunned. Can't get that ultimate off. Well, he may have got a revenge kill on that Chen, but action at both bottom and top as both teams pick up a kill there. Quite importantly for Mouz, they get that top kill, and they could even maybe try pressure this top tower, although Demon is going to TP right back in, put up that Plague Ward wall, and those are now level 3 Plague Wards, but Shadow Shaman is there with the ulti.
Yeah, he is coming in with the haste rune as well. Is he going to get the disable off? He gets blocked by creeps. There's the Hex and the lightning. Wow, he is absolutely screwed. Really, really rough game for Demon so far. I mean, just a lot of really great focus by Mouz here and the ganking on him. And that first death really put him behind. The wards go down. Shadow Shaman will survive, but that tower is not going to survive.
Yeah, and I feel like this Shadow Shaman could have almost saved those wards. They would have got that tower regardless, and they could have maybe saved those wards to push the tier 2 tower. And speaking of pushing tier 2 towers, that's what EG are doing at bottom. They've taken down 1 tower. The DK ultimate's still up. Chen with the Centaur, and they are going to be pressing away at this tier 2 tower. Lich does have that ultimate, although not too many targets to use it on right now, because he is on his own.
And Pugna being really passive this game, extremely passive. He's going to try to get the last hit on the tower. The Nether Blast is good enough. He just has to dodge his arrow, and I think he's going to be okay. There's the leap, and there's a pause. There's a pause by the... yeah, he's not happy about that one. In the middle of some action where he could end up dying. There's a pause by the Shadow Shaman. Let's take a look at the CS quick. Hopefully we don't miss anything. 48. Wow, Priest of the Moon 3-0-0. That's 3 kills on Venomancer now. That's rough.
Yep, and the concern for this Pugna is that this Prophet could TP in. Pugna has no escape from the Sprout. Doesn't have tangos, doesn't have anything to get out. And as well as having the TP and Sprout, Prophet could just use that ultimate. If the arrow hits, there's a Prophet ultimate to do some additional damage on the Pugna. So Pugna in a bit of trouble here. The pigs are going to come out, and Pugna, or the pause, unpause, repause, etc. Pugna finds a regen rune, and they don't actually decide to go on him.
Yeah, Toby explaining himself. He was a little upset about that pause, understandably. It is confusing sometimes, though. Mirana comes up to the high ground. She actually has a Ring of Health. Might be going for a Lincoln Sphere, I guess? Or am I missing something?
I know some sort of late farmer Miranas have gone for that Lincoln Sphere first item before, but as I say every time I see a hero going Lincoln Sphere, whether it's a Morphling, a Weaver, or Priest of the Moon, it's a very expensive item and a very easy to counter item. Meanwhile, mid lane, Pugna does get initiated on the Priestess Invis used to actually initiate that fight, and playmate Pugna goes down. Tidehunter putting a ward up on that high ground, that middle, and that's going to give them some nice vision into mid lane and maybe create some openings to push down that tower.
Yeah, that was just a really good play there by the Mirana. And most Priests of the Moon don't pick up an ulti that fast, but they just backed up, popped the ulti, perfect initiation. Pugna was playing a little too aggressive there, wasn't necessarily expecting something like that. We don't really see that much utilization out of a Priest of the Moon ulti that often in the game, and she's actually going to pick up her Perseverance, so it does look indeed. Hopefully she's not making a Battle Fury, most likely going to be making a Lincoln Sphere, and that's going to be disabling some nukes in the mid game.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not a whole lot of nukes that will come out of this Radiant side. They've got, I mean, the CM Frostbite, the DK. The DK stun's probably the big one. If you can block a DK stun with it, you're in a great shape, because that's a long stun.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's the best time for Bottom to get here, because, I mean, Bottom is the main DPS from this Dire team, is not going to be doing any damage to a DK by going Lincoln Sphere, and what we're actually going to see is EG just pushing away at this top tower, and I don't even, a Priestess can't even defend a push with a Lincoln Sphere. You need to go for a Manta style, or some kind of DPS, or at least something a bit more useful than a Lincoln Sphere, which I don't think is going to be able to stop any sort of push or do any sort of damage here, and it looks like Mouz want to fight this.
Yeah, it looks like Mouz coming in. Everybody TP's in. The tower does not get denied. The last hits from the Serpent Wards are enough, and a lot of weird positioning. Tide's looking for an ulti, but everybody's kind of in unusual spots. How is that Nether Ward skilled? 2 levels of Nether Wards, not amazingly high level, but a good pickup by EG that was very, very closely chancing a tower deny or a major team fight that Mouz correctly responded to, unlike the last game.
Yeah, Mouz, they got there quickly, but they did still lose that tower, and this game so far, not too many kills, but a lot of attempted pressure from both teams, but both teams defending all their towers fairly well. We do see Arcane Boots up on Chen, possibly going for that mech, or is it Pugna? One of them will go for that mech. It looks like Pugna's going for a 4-staff or possibly a Dagon. I imagine it's just a 4-staff, although I'm sure many viewers would love to see a Dagon. And EG though, they're doing fairly well. This is a good start for them. They are up by, I imagine, yeah, they're up by 1k gold, but not convincing as, well, nowhere near as convincing as last game, and Mouz still in a fairly solid position of their own. They just need to get some damage up. I mean, if you look at how are they going to actually hurt EG in the mid game, like up against a DK, they're going to be up against items like Mech and Pipe. You're going to see Mech on Chen, probably a Pipe on Venoman. So how do they actually damage those heroes? And looking at their lineup, they may lack some DPS to actually win a team fight.
Yeah, especially with that Priest of the Moon going for the Lincolns, man. Not going to have, I mean, that's 15 agility, big deal. It doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. And Fear actually already has his Drums of Endurance completed, going for a Magic Wand possibly next. Treads with the Jangle, but the top tower actually taking a lot of damage. No support quite yet. Demon coming through. He was busy on the Ancient Creeps, and he takes a Fury on ulti and is a little worried for good reason. He could get bursted down. He's died so many times already. He is level 7, and he at least does have some Arcane Boots, so he's not absolutely worthless so far, but that was a lot of damage on that tower just from a Priest of the Moon and a little bit of a push.
Yep, and Pugna is going to do his best to push out that top lane, spam a few blasts, and Priest of the Moon just, I mean, you can sort of, the benefit of getting that Perseverance is that you can just stay in that lane. You can go push far up, take some harass, and then back off, play a bit safe for a couple minutes, and if you play safe for a few minutes, you basically, in that time, you regen mana, you regen HP, and then you're in position where you can be aggressive and do some damage to that tower again, and basically rinse and repeat. But at bottom lane, we're going to see EG doing the same with Fear pushing away at that tier 2 tower at bottom.
And once again, that level 1 Dragon Knight ulti does 20 damage per second to towers. You can see the debuff continuing to reply, but there's the TP in. He's a little too aggressive here. He's going to try to TP out. Are we going to get the Shackle? Yeah, he does get disabled. A little bit of a Chain Frost waste from Lich, but they really wanted to make sure he died there, and that was a lot of ultis to kill that Dragon Knight.
It was, but I mean, at this point in, it's not going to really bother them too much. The Lich ultimate does have a big cooldown, but the rest of the ultimates aren't that big on cooldown, and there's not really going to be any team fights anytime soon, because EG, with DK down, they basically have to base their team fights a lot around the DK, because he's their main tank, he's the one who stands in front, so the fact that Lich and Shadow Shaman ultimate are on cooldown isn't really going to bother Mouz at this point.
And Shadow Shaman looking like he's going to, I guess they're just going to leave the illusion. That was a little confusing. I thought there was going to be a fight over the bottle, and Pugna actually backed up and then went back in and took it. He does have his 4 staff now. It's going to keep him very survivable. There's a smoke going by the Rasta and the Tidehunter. Where are they going to swing, though? Tidehunter coming to the opposite side, ready to do a Ravage, but even still, it's not going to be an easy kill pickup, and it looks like Mouz is just going to organize, picking off the bot tower. There's 1 TP, 2 TPs, 3 TPs. Crystal Maiden coming in, going to disable. The tower does not get last hit or denied. Pusher Street in a lot of trouble. He does get healed by the Chen Aura, the big tide ulti, catching so many heroes. Nether Ward doing damage, but it's about to be picked off by the Rasta. Venomancer does get his ulti off, but everybody on EG looks at a really low HP, especially that Rasta who does go down.
Yeah, a great fight there for Mouz. They did end up losing their Shadow Shaman because of the Venom ultimate and the Pugna doing quite a bit of damage to that ward, but still 3 kills, a tower to their name, and that is a 8-5 kill lead for them. And the entire time, Priest of the Moon was actually top, pushing away. Priest of the Moon getting that top tier 2 tower very, very low, and will be able to take that next time he gets basically gets left alone at top lane and can do some damage.
Yeah, he's definitely getting pretty far and picks up his ultimate orb. Still 1350 away. Yeah, 1350 away from his Lincoln Sphere. Fear sitting on 1600 on the Dragon Knight. What is he gonna go for next? Probably some kind of tank item, I think. I'm pretty sure Venomancer going for the hood. He does have the Ring of Health, so I expect him to be finishing the pipe this game. And Pusher Street as well, just sitting on tread. So pretty standard items all over on EG.
Yep, and yeah, it's interesting to see that DK once again going for the drums, despite EG not being as aggressive as they were last game. I think games like this is where it's better to just go straight for that BKB, or go straight for that Vanguard. Going a drums first in a game like this where you're not absolutely dominating is probably not quite as effective as you'd like to be. And ooh, bit of lag, is that me?
Me too.
Is that you?
Must be everybody.
Right. Imagine players as well, so... EG, however, they are going on the aggressive here. They have got their push lined up. Chen with 3 creeps, and Chen finishing off that mech. This tier 2 tower should fall fairly easily. DK does have the ultimate if they need it, and without Tide ultimate, oh, here goes a big Lich ultimate. They've got no Tide ultimate follow up. They need to finish off Pusher Street. Pusher is so low. Lich going to get very low as well, and Fear in the middle of a big Sprout gets taken out by some Potom and Shadow Shaman wards, and Tide getting very low as well. All these Mouse heroes just surviving on red HP. How do they do it? They're going to back off and position themselves next to those Serpent wards, which will help keep them alive. Some very, very smart play there by Mouz, using those Serpent wards to keep themselves alive, and they're going to keep chasing. They need to be careful because that Pugna ward's doing a lot of damage, and it looks like EG are going to pick up a few kills here because Mouz just chasing too far. Chen gets a double kill, and that forces Prophet to buy back. So a bit of a back and forth team fight there.
Yeah, that was a really good play from EG at the end, backing up, and all of a sudden the tables just turned. The Frost Nova from the Crystal Maiden, the Nether Blast from the Pugna, and just having the Nether Ward down means that if they cast, they're just going to make it worse. They're just going to take more damage, and we might even see some Rax pressure here, surprisingly. Dropping the Nether Blast down, the creeps are auto-attacking right on the tower. Here comes the TP in. Who is it going to be? It's going to be Tidehunter. He does have his ultimate. There's the Gush. Is he going to ulti? He's going to hit everyone with this. Fear is back into the fight, but they do pick off the Mirana somehow in that team fight. Where's she been? All of a sudden she shows up, and she gets killed immediately.
Yeah, Mirana, I mean, not having quite finished that Lincoln Sphere, but just not able to have much of an impact on that fight. The Pugna ward is still alive here with red HP. And this tier 3 tower looks like it may go down. The Dire team don't have any ultimates. They've got about 20 seconds on the Shadow Shaman. No Prophet ultimate for 50 seconds. Tide and Lich ultimate for at least 50 seconds each. DK going to pick up a kill on the Shadow Shaman, and this is going to see this tier 3 tower go down and the Rax being pressured as well.
Yeah, I mean, EG getting a really fast Rax once again, or at least very, very close to getting Rax, but unlike the last game, they're not at a ridiculous kill advantage. So even still, the fact that they're able to do this after that very slight misplay by Mouz after the tier 2 tower fell, it's just really amazing to see how this is working out. The arrow's not going to hit anybody here, and Mirana literally can't do much at all to stop this Rax from going down.
And for me, this is something which just shows the power of their draft. Because EG, if you look at their items, they are not that farmed. You've got drums and treads on DK. Venomancer has nothing except arcane boots and a ring of health. Chen has a mech. Pugna has a 4 staff and treads, and CM just has treads. These EG heroes are not farmed. For 20 minutes in, they are actually quite poor. They're going to get quite a lot of gold from all those towers there, but these EG heroes have no actual farm to their name. And Mouz, who probably had more farm. I mean, you had Shadow Shaman heading towards a BKB, Priestess nearing a Lincoln Sphere, Prophet has an Ag Scepter in a couple hundred gold. I mean, they had just as much farm as EG, if not more, but unable to defend that push by basically the sheer hero influence. I mean, Chen with heaps of creeps, the mech and drums just having a huge impact on that fight, and EG just basically walked in and took racks.
And they're going to pick up the Aegis Fear, grabs that. He's going for another support item. It's going to be an AC next, which really makes Dragon Knight even more survivable, balances out the fact that he's a strength hero. Getting attack speed items like AC really make a big difference. And of course, lowers the armor of towers, heroes, units, everything. It makes a big difference. Attack speed, it is a great pushing item, that's for sure.
Yep, it sure is, and I think we are going to see possibly a Vlad's up on the Chen next once again. He's actually going for some treads and wards, but he's got 1400 gold, so Vlad's could be next. The rest of the team, we do see a Yule's Scepter of Divinity on their Pugna, but Mouz, they're pushing back now. They've got their Tide and Lich ultimate coming into play. The problem for them is as soon as they use those Tide and Lich ultimates, they may win a fight, but if EG come back in the next 40 to 50 seconds when those ultimates are on cooldown, Mouz don't really have any way of fighting without those ultimates, which is why, I mean, we mentioned earlier how this Mouz lineup is a bit passive. They can only fight when they have their ultimates. They don't really have much mobility, and EG can just keep on pressuring them down and whittling away at their base, as they can't rely on those ultimates to be up in every fight.
And Nature's Prophet does finish his Aghanim Scepter a little late here at 20 minutes, but it will make a big impact in the team fight, slowing creep waves, killing heroes, just doing a lot of AoE damage. Gonna hit a lot of targets, that's for sure. And as he might even cast this every 60 seconds just to try to keep all the waves away from them. And that's gonna be really important since they already lost their mid-racks at such an early point in the game. It's gonna be a constant struggle to push on this melee lane, pretty much.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle from here on out for Mouz, especially when they are up against an Aegis as well, which is on the DK. DK picking up a Hyperstank, going to be going for that Assault Caress, and it looks like EG want to just push down this top tier 2 tower and maybe even try to take that tier 3 tower and racks at top. But they are going to be up against the Tide Lich ultimates. Potom as well can use the Invis to maybe initiate into the fight, and EG are going to have to be very careful here.
Yeah, really interesting item pickup on Lich. He's got a Phase Boots Blink Dagger. That is it. Gonna be looking for a Beast Chain Frost, which may be something that EG's not going to see coming. And that could make a big impact on a team fight if he happens to Chain Frost the few support heroes that are blocked off. Now the Courier is actually going to spot out the Priest of the Moon. Will she get the last hit? It still is the Courier shield. It's going to be close. She's going to get it. There, Courier does go down. Nice pickup by the Priest of the Moon. They're going to swing by and go for kill. No, she actually leaps away. Really, really lucky pickup there for the Mirana.
Yeah, those do give quite a bit of gold, so Mirana sneaking in a little kill there. EG not happy, they're going to push, they're going to try to punish Mouz for that, but they are going to have to be very careful. That Potom using ultimate to initiate in. Have they got Sentry Wards or a gem? I don't think they have anything of the sort. At least as far as I can see, they don't. So, no vision whatsoever of the Dire team if they do use that Priestess Invis.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't know if you mentioned this, but Pugna actually sitting on the Yules all of a sudden. Went from the 4-staff to the Yules. It's going to give him a lot of survivability, but most importantly, pretty much non-stop mana casting. His int gain is ridiculously big, therefore a percent mana regen item goes a long way on a hero like Pugna. So we're going to be seeing a lot of casting out of him, lots of decreps, lots of nether blasts, and I expect a lot of life drains as well.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of spam, and here we go. DK has popped off the ultimate, basically damaging away at this tower as much as possible, and EG going to be able to slowly do some damage. There's a preemptive Tide ultimate, completely missed it. The Lich ultimate isn't doing much either. The mech goes off, and EG all alive. The Pugna ward up at the back doing huge amounts of damage, and Fear is getting down. Red HP does go down, but he's got the Aegis, and Tide is down. This is not looking good for Mouz, as the entire EG team is back alive and all looking very, very healthy.
Tide had a Blink Dagger. He missed Blink ulti. That's what happened. I don't know what hit him. Something did damage. I bet it was a Plague Ward or something. It might have just been a really good play by Demon. Shoot the Plague Wards on the high ground, have them target those enemy heroes. And that's basically all the Mouz was relying on in this team fight, was the Blink from Tide and Lich. And all of a sudden, Rasta is going to go down. There's a stun on the Mirana. Something, this Lincoln's disabled something, and will she die? There's a Cyclone, curiously. And are they going to get follow-up? Pusher Street in a lot of trouble. It's going to take 2 hits. He goes down, but Fear unlikely to die. He's very survivable. More minus armor. The tower is still taking damage. Not quite finished off yet. Chen completely out of mana, almost entirely. Tide comes in, but all he has is an Anchor Smash and a Gush. There's the mechanism. Fear changing targets. Will he be able to get the Nature's Prophet? A couple more hits. Needs a Fire Breath. There it is, and he does get the kill.
And Priest of the Moon is going to needs one more hit on this Chen. Chen is doing his best to hide. The arrow is going to find him, not actually do any damage, but it does give him the vision needed for Miranda to finish him off. Meanwhile, DK still chasing, tries to finish off the Tidehunter, won't do so, and Fear should go down here, as there's just nowhere left to hide. And there we go, Miranda picks up the kill. Double kill for Miranda, and some much needed gold for Trixie.
Yeah, man. Seriously, disabling those Blink Daggers, Tidal he hit nothing, maybe one hero, but surely you know he wanted to do that in the middle of all of them, and think how different that team fight would have been if Tidehunter did that 250 damage or whatever the heck it is. Yeah, 250 damage to everybody in that team fight. It would have made such a big difference.
Yeah, my initial reaction was that he'd misclicked his ultimate, or like accidentally pushed the hotkey for it, because I don't think he hit maybe one hero with it, and that was only barely. He hit one hero on the edge of the Ravage, and I'm just like, why would he use ultimate there? And then as soon as you say his Blink Dagger, I'm just like, oh, I know I can just picture exactly what happened there. And Mouz just getting caught out by EG there, so some great play by whoever on EG did stop that Blink Dagger.
Yeah, and that's all Tide has. Boots, Wand, Blink Dagger. It's the same as the Lich. They invested so much into those items, and if they get them disabled, that's the gamble with Blink Dagger, you know? If you get caught out, your item is worthless if they can keep doing damage to you. So you have to make sure that your initiations are proper. If they're not, you're essentially a completely underfarmed hero who can't contribute to a team fight.
Yep, and we are going to see a Necrobook up on Pugna, so that's just a Necrobook level 1, but going to be trying to max it out as fast as possible, which is going to give them even more pushing capabilities. And Necrobook is really nice against Tide if you can level it up early on, because Tide is a pretty low mana hero. As you can see, only has 440 mana, so that Blink ultimate costs, I mean, more than half his mana. So if you can get a Necrobook on him, drain about 200, 300 mana, suddenly Tide can't use that Blink ultimate. So Necrobook is going to be very, very useful against him.
Dragonette on the top lane killing a huge creep wave. That's going to finish off his AC. Just needs a chainmail, and he will have that. So everybody's going to have a boosted armor. Venomancer's pipe is finished. I believe that's very recent. Vlad's done on the Chen still. He picks up another, that Belt of Giant Strength that you're talking about. And anyone else have new items? The Dire team, nothing new on Nature's Prophet, just some power treads. Shadow Shaman looks the same. Still trying to get towards BKB or Naganims, but it's going to be a long time. And Miranda does have a Yasha, so increased attack speed coming out of her.
Yep, and Mouse are going to be on the back foot here. They need to come up with some answers. Those Blink Daggers are great, but they need to execute them well. And they are going to have to... I mean, Shadow Shaman going for a BKB over his Blink Dagger, but the Lich Blink Dagger hasn't really had much of an impact on this game yet. Yeah,
that's very true. Sometimes it's fun to get a really fast Blink Dagger on Lich if you're very far ahead in levels, but there's just, I mean, against a Chen, it's already really rough, you know? Like, you already have a guaranteed 3 high HP heroes, or high HP creeps, that are going to eat those Chain Frost. And if he does something like Raise Skeleton with a Dark Troll Warlord, that is absolutely Chain Frost bait right there.
Yep, and the other big issue is, I mean, I feel like he just should have just gone for something like a mech, have that heal on his team, give that an option. Here we are going to Mirana Invis goes in. This time the Tide ultimate hits. A big Chain Frost goes as well, but no EG heroes yet to go down. The Chen is getting very low. He's popped the mech, the ultimate. We do see Venomancer taken out by Shadow Shaman, but Mirana sacrifices his life, and all these heroes so low because of that Venom ultimate. Pugna takes out one, DK another. Shadow Shaman forced to buy back, and Playmate looking to finish off a few more heroes, but does end up getting trapped in that Sprout. So a great fight there for EG.
Yeah, dude, did you see Demon's reaction time? That pipe went off before the Tide ulti did. As soon as Tide blinked, he was like, "Pipe, let's do it," because he knew they all had Blink Daggers. You know, he was waiting for something like that, and it just worked out that, you know, Priest of the Moon ulti set off the same reflexes in his head as a Blink Dagger. So that made a big difference, man. 400 extra HP to all the heroes, kept everybody alive long enough for the mech and the Chen heal to go off.
Yeah, and while Demon did still go down, he popped off his ultimate, he used all he could, and that Venomancer ultimate ended up getting, I mean, a lot of those mouse boards low enough to actually be killed. And Mouse are going to be careful here. It looks like they will lose his top racks. If they get down 4 racks, that's going to be very hard to come back from. Tide blinking in, doing a bit of damage, but Pugna going to life drain him, and Tide escaping barely with his life.
Priestman, will she be able to clean up? She does get disabled. The decrep at the wrong time, unfortunately. Not going to get any more damage out of time. Damage over time out of Fear. He's actually getting very low, 400. The arrow isn't going to land. He dodges it. Very nice dodge. And the team fight may disengage. Nature's Prophet actually low. Demon is back, ready to pop a pipe, and he has a point booster, so he's finally survivable. The top racks finishes falling, and EG will possibly back up. Yeah, they are going to back up. Everybody's going to go heal. and Fear's going to farm the bot lane.
Yeah, so 4 racks up now for EG. Only 19 to 15 on the kills, but this push strat that they've used, it's pretty much a similar strat they've used both 2 games in a row. The main different hero is that solo mid hero. First game using Shadow Shaman, here they're using the Pugna, but the actual gameplay, nothing much has changed. Despite not getting as many kills here, they are just looking unstoppable when they actually push as a team. Some great teamwork coming out from them, and great item choices as well, which is, I think, half of their strategy is their items that they're getting.
Yeah, it does really make a big difference, for sure. Getting all of these support, every single hero farms a slightly different support item. Crystal Maiden, of course, just concerned with warding and keeping her HP up, which makes a big impact. But once again, the mech and the Vlads on Chen making a big difference in the pushes. Fear always grabbing the drums of endurance because he benefits the most from the cost ratio. And Pugna once again going to go for the Necronomicon, just like when he played Rasta previously, just going for more push.
Yeah, that's his Necronomicon level 3, and with 2 lanes already pushed in with racks and just 1 lane to go, that Necro 3 could be the finishing blow for this Mouz team. Mouz, though, they don't want to give up. They're taking out this mid tower. That's another tower. They've pushed a few towers of their own. That's the last tier 1 tower left. They've also pushed the top tier 2 tower, so they've got some gold of their own to work with. They are still going to be down by a fair bit of gold. Speaking of a fair bit of gold, let's talk about 10,000 gold. Because of all those towers,
wow.
Base towers and racks. Base towers and racks give a lot of gold, so that's more or less it. It's only a 4 kill difference, but it's push and farm, which is what EG have done so well this game.
Yeah, last time I checked that graph, it was at 7,500. I think that was right before the last racks push. And if we look at some major CS totals, 200 on Nature's Prophet, 197 on the Mirana. She is farming like crazy. But a lot of spread out stuff on the Radiant team. Team EG 150, 98, 108, 163. The only person with an adequate farm is Pusher Street, the Crystal Maiden, but absolutely understandable. The hero he's playing is all about warding and letting the other people get the farm.
Yep, and Priest of the Moon gonna venture around this jungle, gonna run into this CM. Demon is there nearby as well. Arrow goes flying in, and there's the Priestess of the Moon ultimate. It's being used. They're trying to run in. Is there a Pugna needs to use that Necrobook to get some vision? There's a wow. Chen gets instantly taken out by that Lich ultimate.
That was crazy. I've never seen someone die from Chain Frost so fast before.
Wow.
2 heroes caught together. Just think how different it would have been if he had a couple centaurs in there, as well as just his Wildkin. You know.
The issue is there as to how he dies so fast is because the creep and the Chen are just so close together. There's virtually 0 time between the bounces and insta KO. It's kind of like a Beastmaster next to his Quill Beast. If you use that Lich ultimate on him early when he's not tanky, he just instantly dies. Yeah,
so really nice play there. He did use that Blink Dagger to get that good Chain Frost off, so that was a good reaction time. I actually thought that EG was going to get aggressive as soon as the Nature's Prophet TP'd in. I was like, is he really going to TP on 4 heroes? And for some reason, EG backed up all the way. They were afraid of getting a major team fight from the Dire team, and they ended up only losing 1 hero, so not a bad trade. They still have a big gold advantage. They're going to have to grab more creeps for the for the Chen, but other than that, they're going to finish off their last tower and possibly just go for the last racks. Maybe they should do something like a smoke gank and just run into the mid lane, kill a hero, and then take the tower. It might be a little bit easier.
EG also know that Lich Ultimate's going to be on cooldown for the next 30 or 40 seconds, and with Chen back alive, well, I mean, they can push. They can push without a Lich Ultimate up, so sure, Chen died, but the Lich Ultimate now on cooldown. They will have that Tide ulti, which they're going to want to go in with before the Chen actually gets there. Sure, Chen can use Ultimate from anywhere, but he can't use that mech. He can't provide that aura from the Vlads if he isn't at the fight, but he's well on his way, and by then, Lich Ultimate should be up just 20 more seconds.
Alright, Venomancer tanky enough. Crystal Maiden, everything looks the same. Helmet Dominator now picked up on the Dragonet. This goes a long way to making him more survivable. Why not give him more armor, you know? And in the lifesteal, on a strength hero like that will make a big impact. He is level 16, so sitting on the Blue Dragon, by far one of the best ults in the game in my opinion. It's just so versatile and really powerful. And now he's going to be slowing in addition to doing the very good damage.
Yeah, that slow hurts, and it's AoE as well. It's scary.
Alright, Chen with 2 creeps now. He's got 2 centaurs and a Satyr Hellcaller. All the players are in position. Will Fear get aggressive? He doesn't have an Aegis. The Roshan is up, it looks like, but trying to snake a Roshan at this point and positioning on the map is just not going to happen. Priestman will continue to defend, and nice D-Sentry warding each other. Pretty interesting. And the tower's going to go down. They're going to back up. They're not going to defend it. The minus armor is too much, and here comes the final stand for Mouz.
Yeah, and it looks like EG maybe even going to back off, play it safe, go for Roshan. While Mouse are nearby, can maybe try take a fight at Roshan. The problem is both middle and top lane are pushing in towards them, so they're going to have to keep that top and middle lane pushed out, which they're doing a great job of so far, with Prophet at top, also spending some time in middle lane. But it looks like EG are going to take down Roshan. So far uncontested, but there are Mouse boards hovering around.
There is a courier scouting out. Woollich do a Chain Frost initiation. Roshan is almost down. The ward's doing a lot of damage. All the heroes in position. Venomancer on the high ground actually getting vision, and Dragon Knight picks up the Aegis uncontested. It's they couldn't really fight it though. You know, they almost had to just let it go. They could have maybe tried to snake it or fight a team fight, but it would have been so dangerous. The game would have just ended if they messed up that team fight basically.
I mean, I know they couldn't really fight it, but they kind of had to. They're down 4 racks. Now EG are pushing the last set of racks with an Aegis, with a level 16 DK, with Necrobook 3, Assault Crest, Pipe, Mech, Vlads. They've got everything they could have hoped for at 35 minutes in. And when you're already down 4 racks, stopping this push is just something it's hard to imagine Mouse can do.
Yeah, it may have been interesting because obviously Tide and Lich could have done a perfect initiation with Blink Daggers. And once again, the chain, oh my gosh, the Frost Nova from Crystal Maiden disabling the Tide Hunter Blink. He gets off a mediocre ultimate, and Chain Frost doing a lot. Will Nature's Prophet go down? Pugna wants some kills. He will get killed to poison alone, and the Priest of the Moon ulti kicking in finally. Everybody's invisible. Dragon Knight actually goes down to some wards, but I think that's it. 3 heroes are gone. Priest of the Moon and Lich are not going to be able to defend this solo.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is going to be the last set of racks. The Mouse Sports, they lasted a while, 35 minutes, almost twice as long as SGC lasted, but once again, EG proving just so dominant with this push strat, loving that DK pick, becoming possibly a more common hero in this Dota 2 metagame because of EG here.
Yeah, I would love to see that because he is actually pretty good against anti-mage as well. High armor reduces the damage done by the mana burn, and you know, that really long duration stun goes a long way to countering heroes like anti-mage. So I'd love to see DK get played a lot more. I think he's a really fun hero to watch.
Well, that's I think that's where a lot of the Chinese teams are picking him up in Dota 1 against those hard to kill carry heroes like DK. Also see, like anti-mage. Also see DK picked up against heroes like Panda. And Slardar as well, so definitely a hero that does have a place in the metagame and is a very well balanced hero.
Alright, either way, EG playing really excellent that game, not stomping Mouz nearly the same as SGC, but they played a really great game, I must say. Held it off for quite a while, did some nice tower trading at the early. It's not like that was one-sided by any means, but very, very well played by EG. I really like their strat.
Yep, and that pretty much concludes our night of Dota 2 defense action, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I had a great time, man. Thanks for casting with me. Once again, guys, my name's Purge, and he is GoDz. We're both Ghost Gamers casters. We're here all the time, so if you guys want to check out more from us, you can follow us on Facebook. I am Purge Gamers, and you are GGNetGods, correct? That's right,
facebook.com/GGNetGods, and one last shout out, in an hour or 2 hours, MOBA Weekly is going to be going live, and I'm going to be on that show as a guest, so do check that out, guys. That'll be in an hour's time, I believe, so thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks again, guys, and hopefully we'll see you sometime later. Alright, bye.